Hi guys, welcome to my video where I'm going to be showing you all of the books that I'm hoping to read this year for my Goodreads challenge. It has been a very difficult few years and I think that we deserve to give ourselves self-care and promote self-love and positive well-being. So I am going to read these magnificent books, not put any pressure on myself, but yeah. So get yourself cozy, get a cup of tea or your favourite beverage, whatever that may be. That rhymed. And yes, I am going to sit here at my cozy sofa and I'm going to show you the books that I'm hoping to read this year. If I say the word throughout this video, I'm going to put a counter on it because I've just watched back some footage that I literally just filmed before this, and I noticed that literally every other word was and I'm annoying myself, so I cannot imagine how you must be watching this if it's annoying me. So I'm really trying not to say and if I do, I'm going to try and make sure it doesn't bite me on the arse throughout the video. Currently, I am reading, which I started actually a few years ago when I bought this. It's An Edited Life by Anna Newton, and it's literally simple steps to streamlining your life at work and at home. Now, if you don't know Anna Newton, she is a blogger and a YouTuber, and her channel is called The Anna Edit, and she is just wonderful. She really reminds me of myself, or should I say I remind myself of her. She's very, I just said oh my god. She is so wonderful, so joyous, but also so real. And she basically creates sort of clean and crisp content, and it basically matches her style, her clothing, her home, her decor, her work, and I'm very inspired by her. I'm the kind of person who likes to keep quite a crisp and clear surrounding, but having 6 people in my home and having to work and rest and play and sleep in one bedroom, it makes things very difficult to keep them streamlined and decluttered. So this book is a fantastic companion. It just allows you to go through it, but also do the tasks within it during the chapters. So I read the first chapter, which was about organising your calendar and your diary. I then did the actions. Oh my goodness, I've just found my pen. I've been looking for that pen for the last day and it's within the book. Oh dear, if you've just come over onto my blog, you're probably going to think this girl literally has no idea what she's doing. And I'm talking about an organisational book, and I lost my pen within it. I'm going to just use that as an excuse, the fact that I've used an organisational book and I've lost my pen within that. So, yes, so I read this about organising your diary and your calendar, and then I took that away with me and I went and organised my calendar and my diary before starting the next section, which is on budgeting and finances. So it is basically like the friend that you may or may not have never had. This book is my friend. It's like I've got Anna with me to let me know what I need to do and how I can help myself be more organised. So this is the kind of book that you can read within the next 2 years, or if you want to read it all the way through in one, you can. And like Anna says within the book, you can bookmark certain pages, you can highlight things, you can put sticky notes in there to sort of come back to it when you're ready to. So This is a book that I'm reading sort of on and off when I feel, and going to chapters that I would like to read. So for instance, I'm really not that keen on budgeting right now, because I feel like I've got my finances quite organised. So I'm going to move on to the next section within this book. So I thought I would pair this organisational book with a fictional read. I've spent the last year reading fiction, 2 separate types of fiction as well, and they're my favourite. I keep saying yeah, so if I'm going to read a fictional book, I like it to either be horror or something along the lines of, which was my last read, Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine. So, but I will discuss that in the review that I do of that book. So my current read is The Woods, and I'm reading this alongside an edited life, and yes, it's just a bit of fiction, so I can read an edited life book, organise and streamline my life and what I need to take from it, and then of an evening when I'm in the mood for a little bit of fantasy and a little bit of a separate world to my own, I'll dive into this. I think it's going to be quite an easy read, the kind of book that I can read within a week. I read Eleanor Oliphant within a week, so I'm hoping to read this one. I literally just check out the counter here, because it's going to be there for a while and it's going to go off a lot. I should probably make bets about this. This has gone from a book video to a shit that Luna does video. So let's try not to say and please don't just leave in the comments So this book is by Vanessa Savage. It's called The Woods, and I remember seeing it in a shop. I can't remember what shop, I won't lie. I've got a feeling it was probably Asda, and yeah, they usually have 2 for $7, so I picked this up. It pulled me in. It is essentially a horror crime book, and it just seems interesting. The first chapter is quite enticing, so yes, I'm really looking forward to continuing to read that, and then that will be up as a review in the next month. So really looking forward to that. If you've read this, and same goes for all of the books, if you read any of them, I would love to know in the comments. The other books that I'm hoping to read are a mixture of hard copies and also digital, so I will need my phone at some point. So just to let you know the list that I'm hoping to read. So like I said, I'm hoping to read 20 books this year. So I've had Stephen King's Sleeping Beauties, Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine, An Edited Life by Anna Newton, and then The Woods, which I'm currently reading. So here are the other books that I'm going to read this year. I'm hoping to read all 20, but if not, then I'm not going to put any pressure on myself, like I said earlier. So this book is actually a book that I got from a friend of mine, Isabel Celine, who is also a YouTuber. She's fantastic, and I will leave her link below so that you can check her out. A little bit of an appreciation section of this video. So this is Feed Your Face, and it is a 28-day plan for younger, smoother skin and a beautiful body, and it's by Dr. Jessica Wu, who is a dermatologist to the stars apparently. So I'm thinking this might be another book that is similar to An Edited Life, where whilst reading this I will most likely read a fictional book as well, because I think this is the kind of thing that will just be read as and when, and you know, go between and bookmark and try and basically make a plan of your life almost. Even though it's a 28-day thing, I think if it's a really good one, then it's probably something worth sticking to. So I don't think this will be one on its own to read. I've got quite an overactive mind, and having autism, it's constantly on, so I think that probably I would benefit from reading a fictional book alongside this. So yeah, next on my list is this one, and I got this, I believe, for my birthday last year, and a friend of mine got this, and it sounds really interesting. very, very minimal on the information for it, but it sounds really good. So when I was choosing what I wanted to read this year, this is one of the ones that I picked from my bookshelf. So it's called The Weight of Small Things by Julie Lancaster. And again, from what I've read, I think this is another sort of thriller, horror, kind of slightly crime, maybe supernatural. But that's what I like about it, because it leaves a lot to the imagination, and when I'm reading it I will unlock all of the wonders that the book has to hold. So I can't wait to get going with this. I hope you can see it because it's quite a bright cover. There we go. So yes, it looks wonderful and I look forward to digging into that. I also have this book that I bought from Asda, again in the 2 for £7 deal, and again, no surprise, it's a horror. It's called The Hunted by Gabriel Bergmoser, which is quite a unique name, or Gabriel. Apologies if I've said the name wrong. I'm sure they are a fantastic author. And it says, "Where does the adventure end and the nightmare begin?" Now that's quite an enticing book cover, in my opinion. It's quite minimal. I like white books. I know that sounds really strange. I think something about them, it's very clear, and it makes the image of the book need more to entice you. So yeah, that looks really interesting. It's giving me some sort of Stephen King vibes. The one that's on Netflix, 1922, I might be making that up, it could be a completely different year, but it kind of gives me those vibes. So yes, I'm hoping to read this. Yeah, it seems like the kind of book I could read in a day, to be honest. I read the first Harry Potter in I think that was a day, so, and I think it's about the same size as this, so maybe that will be one to read within a day. Here is one that I am actually already almost finished, but I read it so long ago that, if I'm honest, I just want to read it again. So this is Skulduggery Pleasant, and it is the second book in the series by Landy. I've met him at a book signing in Waterstones when there was a huge Waterstones in Birmingham city centre, but it's now turned into an Apple store, which I'm so annoyed about, but I won't go into that. It was the most magnificent bookshop, and it just held so much life. But yeah, this is a what I'm going to read video, so I'm not going to go into how I feel about why they changed it into an Apple store. So yeah, good memories in here. And let me see again, and I also got it signed by Derek, which is really cool. Next, slightly going off the fictional book route, I have got again a lovely book that my friend Isabel Celine got me for our Christmas gift exchange, and this is called The Little Book of Sloth Philosophy. It is such a cute little book, as you can see, and I think, again, just like the Feed Your Face book and An Edited Life, I think this is kind of more of a little companion rather than a book that you just read. So yeah, but I am treating this as a book because it is a book, it's just a different kind of book. So I think it's about like health and wellness, and basically lifestyle, things like that. And it's all How to Live Your Best Sloth Life by Jennifer McCartney, and I'm very much looking forward to that. If the year carries on how last year was and how the start of this year has been, then it's going to be another challenging one. So we need to fill it with happiness and wonder and fun. So I think this book is going to be a beautiful addition. So one that you're probably thinking, you haven't read this already? Well, the answer is no, I haven't read it. I don't know why I haven't read it, but I haven't, and I also haven't seen the film either. So I think I'm going to read the book this year and then I'm going to watch the film, which I think is always a good idea, because you can see everything that they've missed out of the films. So this I picked up from Waterstones, one of the love of my life that shop is, and it is Thomas Harris, The Silence of the Lambs, which obviously is a very famous horror film, obviously from this book as well. And I just really, really want to read it. It's right up my street. It is about a serial killer. What more could you want? Yeah, escaping from this rather confusing pandemic-filled world into a murderous fictional book. So yes, I'm looking forward to having that as an addition to my reading goals for this year. I then picked up this as well alongside my Silence of the Lambs book from Waterstones. I was just pulled in by the look of this book. You should never judge a book by its cover, but I think we could all be lying when we say that we haven't at some point. This book is quite a large book, and it just seems really interesting. It seems different to anything else I've ever read, and it is by Araminta Hall, which is a very beautiful name, and it's called Imperfect Women. Again, it is like a thriller kind of crime book, and it's based around women whose friend goes missing or dies, if I am right. So yes, I am very interested in this book and I'm really looking forward to reading it. I then got this one that I did start reading, but again it is quite similar to a lifestyle companion book. So it's not a fictional book, it is just the kind of book that makes you happy and helps you live your best life. So I live quite a... Now I don't exactly know properly how to pronounce it, so it is spelled hygge, but I know it's said very differently. And it is the Danish Way to Live Well, and Meik Wiking. Again, I could be saying that wrong, I apologise. And yeah, it's the little book of hygge, the Danish Way to Live Well. And yeah, I live a very cosy life. I like to be very cosy. And very similar to Anna Newton with the simplistic, cosy style clothes. And just, yeah, keeping surroundings cosy and nice. And I just feel more connected to this book more than ever. And it's the kind of life I lead, so I want to live it more and be inspired to make positive change as well. So yes, I got this. So those are the hard copies. I now also have ones on my Amazon Fire, so I've got ones on there that I would like to read. So I have got the list on my phone of the ones that I'm hoping to read this year to make up to 20 books. So here are the last 8 books in my to be read Goodreads goal. So I don't have them to hand. Unfortunately, my Amazon Fire has lost battery. It loses battery very quickly. So I've got a list of all of the books I'm hoping to read. So fingers crossed, if you are interested in any of them, you can have a look. I will leave the links below anyway for you. So I'm hoping to read a book called Reprobation by Fearns, and again it is a fictional book and it is like a crime, horror, thriller kind of book. I remember actually getting this next list of books for a fraction of the price, if not free, when one of my favourite authors and friends, Lizzie Chantree, she actually posted to help people who were struggling during lockdown a list of books by small writers. When I say small, I don't necessarily mean small, I mean writers who are perhaps overlooked, writers that aren't necessarily Stephen King and Gail Honeyman and things like that. So yes, I had this amazing list of authors and their books and I just went for it. I want to support small authors and authors who perhaps aren't quite out there in the world and deserve to be. So yeah, there was just this list and I was like, I'm going to go for it. I want to support them. Also, these books sound amazing. So yeah, I've got Reprobation by Fearns, The Tower by Anne-Marie Ormsby, which again sounds really interesting. It is a thriller crime horror book. I then have Ninja Schoolmum by Lizzie Chantree, which is really cool. It is about this amazing mom who is also like a secret agent kind of person, and it really, every time I think about the character I think about the author Lizzie Chantree, and she's just amazing. And I have been reading that book for about 1.5 years, and again I just keep putting it off, but I'm definitely going to finish reading it this year. I then have The Reason I Jump by Naoki Higashida, which is originally, I believe, I could have this wrong, Japanese, and it has been translated into English, and it is about an autistic boy who writes about, as I assume, the reason he jumps, which I can really connect to because I have autism as well. So yeah, my mum bought me that for my birthday, so I'm really hoping to read it. There is Reasons to Stay Alive by Matt Haig, and I'm sure a lot of you watching this who are perhaps bookworms have probably heard of this book, if not read it. It is not a fictional book, it is more of a lifestyle book and a book to be your companion, and about mental health. And yes, it is the kind of book that I could really do with, to be honest. I know a lot of people have found solace in that book. It has really helped them through tough times, so I know for a fact I'm going to adore it, and I know Matt Haig is an incredible human being. So I then have another fictional book, and this is another one by a sort of independent small author, and it's called A Place Called Perfect. I actually, somewhere was obstructing my vision from the name of this book, so I'm going to look and I'm going to show you in the comments. I will link below. Her name's Helena, but then her last name, yeah. So it's A Place Called Perfect, and it's a very, it seems like it's going to be a very uneasy read. It's going to be, not in terms of actually reading, in terms of the storyline. I think it's going to be quite an on-edge kind of book all the way through, because it's one of those very secretive kind of things where there's a really unusual society, and then it's coming from the point of view of a young girl. So I'm really intrigued by this book, and I cannot wait to dive into it. So my last two books are Tales from the Lazy Luncheonette Casebook by David W.Robinson. This, I'm not sure how big this book is, again because it's an ebook that I have. I don't know how big the tales are within the book, but they are crime related tales, and I'm really looking forward to reading this book. I think it's going to be humorous but also crime, so that's right up my street. So yes, I'm not sure how long it's going to take, and if it's maybe too long, I may switch it to next year's to be read books. The last book on my list is a book called Chasing the Case by Joan Livingston. Again, it is sort of a true crime book, so it's definitely up my street. I assume it's probably similar to the novel that I'm writing, so I'm really looking forward to that. So yes, I hope I have done 18 books there. If not, then that just goes to show you how I'm slightly unorganised and how I need these certain books to keep me on track. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I'm just sorry for saying so many times. I got the counter here, so yeah, hopefully you've stayed this long. If you haven't, I completely understand. I'm so sorry. But yes, so I really looked forward to filming this video, and it's the first time I've sat down at my lovely chair. And yes, these are the books that I am aiming on reading this year, but no pressure on myself. If you would like to also do a Goodreads challenge, I would love to know how many books you're planning on reading. what you're planning on reading in the comments, or you can tell me over on social media. Just tweet me. I've got all of my social media links down below, and I'll also have them either side of this video at the end. So if you stick around, you can see those, and you'll also see a link to my last video. So I am very excited to embark on this journey of reading and basically just staying super cozy, finding a nook in my house where I can put my knees up, get the candles on, get the cozy cushions, warm lighting, and just dive into a wonderful book. So I will have my reviews about the Stephen King book and about the Gail Honeyman book either already up or after this one, and yeah, I'm really excited about this book, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to leave some of my favourite booktubers down below, so let me know if you already follow them, or maybe you can go and give them a cheeky follow. I know it would make their day. I would really love it if you could like, subscribe, and maybe share my channel. I'm a very small channel, but I'm still a very happy girl who loves creating content, so I hope you're enjoying it. I know this has been a long video, so thank you for sticking it out. Thank you so much, and good luck with your reading goals, or if you're not the kind to read, just good luck in any way possible, and I hope you have a wonderful end of February. Thank you.